the mock examination. I also want to acknowledge at the moment I've got about 9 people who are joining us online. So welcome to the class. And the main idea for this session is around our exam technique. So it's very important that as we are discussing, you are also reconciling with what you may have written on your answer script. So the process is going to be as usual. We go through the requirement, we agree on the interpretation of the requirement. Then from there, we then go back to the scenarios and agree based on our understanding of the scenario, how should you have dealt with the question. And for those who are also joining online, please do make sure to post any questions that you may have. I'll try as much as possible to also respond to those questions as we go along. But generally, how did you find the paper? For those who really took their time to properly do the paper, do you think you have passed the June ITC? You're still very far from the ITC. And yet, I thought at this stage, my students are ready to give them the ITC. They should be able to comfortably tackle the examination. Anyway, so we want to see exactly, okay, maybe what was difficult about this paper, what should you have done, what should you have done better? So starting off with our required E, but before I look at required E, confirm you also took time to answer required A to D under exam conditions. Because one of the tests was A to D was largely text plus a question on ethics, isn't it? Then E to G were questions that you could associate with our math syllabus, which is exactly what you're going to expect in your test 2 next week, Monday and Tuesday. For each paper that you are going to get, expect Okay, apologies. Again, I think the whole night I'll be apologizing. So please bear with me. If I encounter any technical glitches, I'll apologize. Anyway, so I was saying for purpose of answers required, we are using information divided by the management account. Then the department also says prepare by 2018 variance that shows the calculation of standard cost variance that occurred during FY 2018. So when you look at this required, what is our output? What is our output? What do I expect to find on your script or solution? And the variance report is going to contain what? It's going to contain what? It's going to contain variance calculation. So the question is, what is a variance? What is a variance? Anyone? Yes. So she's saying a variance is a departure from expectation. So whenever I'm dealing with a variance, the first thing that I need to have is I need to have an expectation. Agreed. And then for me to have a variance, I'm not comparing this expectation with actual results. So now you're asking yourself, based on the information given by the management accountant, the moment I've got a departure from expectation, it means I have a variance to calculate. Happy? So if you go back to your script, if you've got calculation, we've got if you did a calculation and you got a zero variance, that calculation should not be part of your variance report. Because there's no variance. And we agree that our report should contain what? Variance, where there were departures from expectation. And I know based on the information of our case studies, for some items we're told that they did not vary with the standard, isn't it? So definitely there's no variance to talk about. But I know some of my good students who then want to demonstrate to me that they claim the formulas for calculating variances. So we end up just calculating something. But that something is no longer in response to the requirements. Okay, then another item. When we look at our variance report, or when we look at our requirements, it's also saying where material usage or quantity variance have arisen for the same reason as, for the same reason, a combined usage variance may be calculated. What did we interpret from that? That instruction, which is saying where a material usage or quantity variance have risen for the same reason, a combined usage variance may be calculated. What are we understanding from that? I thought all of you said you answered this more. So I just read and felt that these guys, okay, they're just telling me for just to make the required longer. How do you interpret that statement? So obviously, the first thing you need to break down the sentence, isn't it? Where a material usage variance. The first question is, what is the material usage variance? What is a material usage or material quantity variance? I wonder why you struggle with this paper. They are telling me that you don't know what is the material usage variance. Yes. So, there's the difference between okay. So you're saying the difference between actual quantity and the standard production. I want to rephrase it maybe potential layman's terms. I hope it's going to be layman's terms. So usage variance is simply saying how much do you expect to use? How much do you actually? Is that what the usage variance? So when I look at that variance, it then also says when you go back now to your module, your usage variance is broken down into two. What are they? Yes. Yield and the mix. And what are we trying to achieve by breaking down to yield and mix? Yes. Okay, that's your yield. Agreed. So effectively, what I just want to go back to what are we trying to do here? We are trying to explain what caused the usage variance. Is it because there was a change in mix? Or is it because there was a change in yield? Is that not the case? Why we determine the yield and the mix variances? So here our requirement is then saying, for the purpose of this required, if the variance arising from the same reason, just calculate a combined. Effectively, the question telling you, my friend, don't worry about mix and yield variance. Just calculate a combined usage variance. And I'll also explain further. Okay, how many of us tried to calculate the mix variance? Yeah, Buddha. Yes, because you didn't have the information. That's another indicator. To say if you then try to force to calculate the mix variance, it did not work. Which is why the required also had this instruction. But it's because we never did take time to think about the meaning of this instruction. What is it telling me to do? Unfortunately, we just said I know the formulas for calculating usage, material usage variances, yield mix. But within the context of this required, to derive the information, was it relevant? So my major feedback on this one is, did you take time to think about it? Reach an incorrect conclusion. I don't have a problem with it at this stage. What I'll be happy about is, at least you thought about it. What did that statement mean? So now armed with this interpretation of the requirement, I can now go back to the scenario. What is this information that was provided by the management accountant? And how can I use this information to determine or calculate my variances? So that will take me to what page of the case study? The information on the variance is on what page? I started somewhere around page 2. Where got the background around the solar manufacturing process. So I'm told the background on Zim Solar. And on page 2, I'm given a description of the solar manufacturing process. For us to come out with a single solar panel, what are the key activities within the production process? So number one, we're told that each solar panel is made up of 72 solar cells that are wired together. So effectively, if I go to a solar panel and I count the cells, each unit solar panel, I expect to find 72 solar cells. And I'm also further told that the solar cells are important and are highly fragile. So that is the information which is coming in the case study. At this stage, this information, actually, it has got nothing to do with the production process. So the actual standard cost. At what stage should we have understood this information? For those who remember our exercise on business models, this will be under what building block? I remember the building block said key activities. Do you remember it? We need to understand the key activities. At this stage, we are just being told the key activities in the production of a solar panel. So during this time, they've mastered this page 1 or page 2. Did you understand the production process for each single solar panel? But for the purposes, I'm sure the information that was given by the management accountant was found on page, now on page 3, where you are told standard costing system, all amounts provided this section exclude VAT. Zim Solar operates a variable costing system. What is the information that Zim Solar operates a variable costing system? What did we interpret from that information? The fact that Zim Solar operates a variable costing system. Or we just read and we moved on. Hey, the way you're ignoring me, I'm actually wondering whether you wrote this paper. Yes.
I thought of the emphasis we had the copy of the sales variances as well as the fixed overhead variances.
Okay, what would be the effect? Just from that, so she's saying, I thought about the potential impact to my sales variances as well as to my fixed overheads. What is that impact? By just telling you that these guys operate a variable standard costing system. Yes.
Contribution calculated on the
Okay, I hear you. So it's a very complex level, very right. For me, I just want the basic interpretation. A standard variable costing system versus a full absorption costing system. What should I pick out? Yes. Allocation to what? Yes.
Okay,
your cost of it's all around your inventory valuation, isn't it? If I'm using a standard variable costing system, I do not include fixed overheads in my inventory valuation or product costing. But if I go full absorption, I do include, isn't it? For me, that's what we're supposed to pick out. You say, what does it mean to operate a standard variable costing, a variable standard costing system? Yep. Okay, then the scenario goes on to say the following standards were amongst others set for the year ended 20th February 2018. In that sentence, what am I picking out? It's now our expectation. So as we're planning for 2018, we set these particular standards, expectation, which is why 2.1 to 2.5 to 2.6, we are getting our standards. Then the next one then gives you the actual performance. Yep. So I'll read 2.1. So this is where I will now need you to reconcile with your findings or with what you got. So 2.1 says a standard selling price of $1,600 per solar panel was set. Sales of 11,125 solar panels, isn't it? So all of us will pick this one out. So I've got a standard around the selling price confirmed. And I also got the budgeted volumes confirmed. So already, I believe most of you, not all of you, then went on to calculate your sales variances. This one. So what were these sales variances we calculated? Sales variances calculated. What sales variances did we calculate? Yes. Sales price variance. Equals what? So she's saying I calculate sales price variance. It's equal to what? Okay, this is the formula. And I'm saying if you use this formula, you got it wrong. Can anyone care to explain for us why this formula is inappropriate within the context of our question? Remember, it's always contextual, isn't it? Within the context of our requirement. Yes. Sorry, volume? It's not reflective of the system that we use. Okay, agreed. And to add on to that, when we determine generally, what do you want to determine here? The potential loss or gain we make due to price variation, confirm. But when I'm working in a standard variable costing system, how do I measure my gains or losses? I measure them in what? In contribution, isn't it? Contribution lost or contribution gains. Which is why I asked you to understand the implication of having a variable standard costing system. Sorry, volume. Where did I lose you? So I'll say my formula, which I also gave you in our module, standard margin minus actual margin times actual quantity. What is standard margin? Standard margin, what is it? It's contribution. Because they are going to say standard selling price minus standard variable cost. Then you get your standard margin. And then you've got your actual margin. And what are we trying to do here? We are saying because of the variation in our selling prices, how much contribution did we lose? Question. Guys, even got questions, please.
Yeah, get to that Facebook.
To the? The explanation behind is we are opening a standard variable costing system. And how do we measure our losses or gains? From price variations. And I'm saying we measure losses or gains arising from price variations by determining lost contribution or gained contribution. But good from a math perspective, what is the real gain or what is the real loss? It's contribution, isn't it? Because if I use standard price plus actual price, yes, so what? Was that my real gain? If I'm operating a standard in a variable standard costing environment, yes. Okay, I don't want. Personally, I don't like the word always. Let's understand the principle why we are reaching that conclusion. So the principle is around contribution. Just as the word what? Because if you use the word always, a required term can give you specific instruction, or in the scenario, isn't it? Can give you specific instructions. Then you got in with the word always, you're now in trouble, isn't it? Because you're no longer, you not listen to the scenario, because you're saying, always I do it this way. Yes. This one, generally in an exam scenario, I expect you this when I apply the full absorption costing system. But what's actually surprising, okay guys, I'll take a question and then come to you. What also surprises me is, if you go back to your modules, which formula were you given? If you go to your modules, who is willing to bet $10 US visa and to check our modules and see which formula I gave you? Sorry, what did I give you? I hope you have got an updated version of the module. Even my if is not changed, you can put it if I ain't 18. Okay, yes, question. Quiet, please.
In the variable contribution, we usually use sales variance to measure the selling department, the sales department, the marketing, or whatever.
Yes.
If we're going to be using contribution using variables like the sales and the variable cost, and then we use the contribution to measure the variable, are we then not going to be holding them accountable for inefficiency even in the direct cost?
Because so she's saying, I want to use the sales price department. Confirm if I'm getting your quiz. So standard margin, how am I calculating this? Standard selling price minus standard variable, wasn't it? Then on the actual margin, this is where the trick is. It's your actual selling price minus what? Minus standard cost. Why? Okay, guys, why? It's emanating from a query. Because if you use the actual cost, variable cost, I'm going to penalize, like you rightly said, the sales department for things that may not be within their control, or whoever is responsible for pricing. But remember, I said standard variance analysis can also be used for performance evaluation. Is it a follow-up question to this? All right. So you do the math. Here I'm worried at principal level. What is the principle? My variance is lost contribution or gained contribution. That's what I want, isn't it? So quantitatively, your things are going to be different. If you just do mathematically, you're going to get different variances. Do you agree? Okay, there were a couple of hands. Queries addressed, yes. Okay. Okay, guys, can we keep quiet, please, so that we can. Yes, you can shoot. Will it what? Okay, guys, can you separate issues? What are we arguing about here? Well, do you know the problem here we are now doing? If we can argue on the principle, because I've used the word actual margin, and then I've discussed with you the way we calculate actual margin and the reasons why we are doing it that way. If you want to query that method, can you query the reasons of why we did what we did? Because when I look at that question, it's more or less asking me to say general, and I know it comes back to what we call generalism. To say generally, how do we calculate actual margin? And I'm saying in math, the moment you are going to be using the word generally, you are going to be in trouble. Understand what you are doing and why you are doing it that way. Because if you use general, we now know what general happens, then happens, isn't it? Question. The gain or loss what? I didn't just say gain or loss meant there was a prefix. Gained contribution or lost contribution. Yes. Yes. At this stage, it's not about gain sales or lost sales. Price, it's just a price. In this case, your standard price was 1.6 minus what? If I denote by actual volumes, I'm just getting a number to say, therefore, in dollar amount, our sales were more than budgeted by so much. But then I'm saying from a math for purpose of decision making. Remember, I'm not just calculating this variable. If I'm operating a variable standard costing system, I'm worried about lost contribution or gained contribution. And can you also agree on certain things? Number one, focus on understanding the principle first. If you don't agree with the principle, do you know what is sales were boosted above budget. So budget was 11,125. After we won an extension, which was not budgeted, in that time the debt was how many additional units? So how much was the actual sales? 11,625. But I know some of my good friends, they used G. Then G were told a total of 11,825 solar panels were produced. And I also believe the information in fact A of the scenario was also very specific, isn't it? How much did we sell above budget? 11,125 plus 500. And I know some of you again might have been confused by the statements around the closing stocks. Confirming saw them. But again, that information was also supposed to confuse us. Why? The scenario said apart from those that arise from the information gathered by the management accountant, no other variance arose during FY 2018. There was no opening stock of raw materials or finished goods on hand. So the only comment was around opening stock. Nothing was said about not having closing. And again, it's written in black and white. But unfortunately, then some of us through I wouldn't want to use the word speed, but too much speed in the exam. Not paying attention to detail. What detail were you taught? Did you manage to appropriately capture the implications whatever you were doing? So are we not in agreement on the actual price? Actual volume, yeah, business. Actual price, I'm sure it's not easy to say my intended. Total sales divided by actual volume. Then you come up with our actual selling price. Then what is the other sales variance you could have calculated? The other sales variance, so where the price variance ends. Which other variance? And what else was this other one? Yes. Then we also have got the volume variance. Calculated as what? Volume variance. How do we calculate the volume variance? Volume variance. How do you determine a volume variance? volume variance. Could ignore that does it mean it's not taught again? Or we've not boycotted? Since I didn't agree with you on the use of the standard margin. Volume variance, what is it? Guys. Yes.
Budget volume.
Okay.
Actual volume.
Okay.
Multiplied by.
Thank you very much. Because the trick against continue using what? Standard margin and not standard price. Because we sold more or because we sold less, what contribution did we gain or what contribution did we lose? Happy? So I'm sure we've already discussed the budgeted volumes we provided. Actual volume, I'm sure you agreed how we're supposed to determine the actual volumes. I want to assume that on this one, not too many arguments. Is that so? Or I tend to be guided. Okay, let's move on. So this is why I didn't for now calculate this standard margin. I know some of the information we can discuss it as we go through each point by or each standard by standard. So 2.2 said each solar panel requires 72 solar cells. However, because the cells are so fragile, a normal loss of 3 cells per solar panel is budgeted. Full stop. Question: what is the standard number of solar cells required to produce a solar panel? It's 75, isn't it? But I'm sure one or two of my colleagues then use 72. 72 is not the output of the yield, isn't it? If you put in 75 solar cells, we expect the final output to have 72 solar cells. Why? Because already we expected a normal loss of 3 solar cells. So in going to purchase these solar cells, we know that to meet, for example, a production of 10 solar panels, we are going to need 150 solar cells as the standard. So I'll move on. Based on an expected exchange rate of European euro to USD of €1 to $2, the standard cost was set at $5 a solar cell. Again, that's another interesting item here. When, for example, it determines the standard margin, the standard margin of what? Or what is the unit of measure? What is the unit of measure? And our companies are talking about standard margin, actual margin. What is this per what? It's per solar panel. Then the cost of our solar cells is different per what? Cells. We are given $55. So what is the cost of solar cells? How much is it? 35 times. So now when you your margin UTC, your margin is the panel. So you need to convert your cost to the panels. Like this. course, there were two main things. The separate the 5 units. And picking out that this course was failed and not pay. I believe all of us will pick this one out. Because I know my students are very intelligent. These small things they will pick up in their sleep. So as standards. So yeah, the standards quickly go to the action. So standard, you have two things. So I said this is standard. What is the actual equivalent for the solar cells? What is the actual price of the solar cell? I've not just that big anyway. Then to produce each panel, how many solar cells do we need? Yeah, actual usage as well. How do we determine actual? To say to produce each solar panel, how many solar cells do we need? To produce a single solar panel, how many solar cells do we use? Yes. Yes, shoot. Okay. Okay. Is that sorry? Sound is dying. But by 11,825, 100% agree with you. Why? Also usage value. Usage. I'm waiting. Usage variance. How do we determine usage variance? Yes. Standard quantity minus actual quantity. And I'm checking that. Times standard price. Anyway, there's something interesting we want to illustrate on this variance calculation. This standard quantity done what? Standard quantity. Standard quantity of what? We want to determine the solar cells usage variance. So how to determine the standard quantity? Yes. Yes. It's what? Actual what? Actual output, isn't it? How many solar panels did we produce actually? Multiplied by what? Multiplied by what? I say standard quantity, standard usage per solar panel. How can I prefix this? Without confusing my people. I'm just saying standard quantity. So here we are saying to produce these 11825 solar panels, how many cells should we have using them? Why are you multiplying standards? Why are you mixing? Just part of the flexing process, isn't it? It make a sense. So here saying actual quantity 11825 divided by 35 solar cells minus what? Minus what? Out of Gaia. Minus actual quantity of solar what? So here, a point to note is, for our case study said, purchased and used, isn't it? In some scenarios, they will tell you, we purchased 87550, and we used 90% of them. Confirm is possible. So for the actual quantity, what do we take? Is it 100 or 90? We take the 90%, isn't it? When we are determining the usage variance, how many did we actually use in our production process? Then here, standard price of what? This standard price of what? Of a solar cell. But why our units here are in solar what? Cells. So then you also need to multiply like with like. Yes.
Please come again on the actual quantity.
We are saying for actual output, how many standard solar cells should we have used? Because we can maintain what you call the budgeted quantities, how many solar cells should we have used? Part of our variance is going to be due to the difference in production level, which then distorts our variance. So our variance is saying for the actual output we did produce, how many solar cells should we have used? That's what we actually used. Yes. So she's asking, says, is it the same as saying standard quantity for actual production? 100% agree with you. Did you win on this one? The one who doba shit. But I'm hoping and see what maybe the major thing here is the extent to which you are paying attention to the detail in the case studies. Because balance is all about, are you comparing life with life? Which other variance would we calculate on the solar cells? Which other variance? The price variance. Why? Because we are given actual price. We also have budgeted. So if you come up with the price variance. So price variance is equal to what? Price variance is equal to what? Actual price minus standard price multiplied by what? Actual quantity. Purchase. Thank you very much for saying purchase. But said it then let us know where purchase and use are different. You say usage variance, you use quantity used. Price variance, you use quantities. Why? Because I know how that was in my world. Yes.
What's our method of evaluation is started first?
Okay? So I'm saying why you are saying for the price variance, we are using purchase quantities. Why purchase quantities? Yes.
This is what I think with each variance, you need to understand who actually evaluates. So in this case, we're evaluating the procurement.
Okay.
And what we're saying is that we are not interested in what was actually used in the production. We're interested in what purchased. So we want to know at what price did
Purchase.
purchase this.
Isn't it? So when some of the product are ready to stop, if there's a positive or negative variance, it's already reality, isn't it? Because we've already done the purchase. So price variances arise from the purchasing department of procurement. Usage is not the production department. Yes.
Sorry, I wanted to elaborate on why I was according to evaluation method.
Okay.
I said if the evaluation method standard costing, then I will use actual quantity. If it is actual evaluation like people weighted average, there will be no price variance. So if my according policy of choosing the standard costing, that's when the price variance arises. If it is actual cost, if it is actual evaluation like people weighted average, there will be no price variance.
Okay. Interesting. So you see, if I really actual costing, definitely you don't have any variance because you don't have any predetermined standard. All right. So solar cells here. If we have our reconciliation, how do we do solar? We are still on 9 out of 10. And then let's move on to again interesting in its own unique way. I'm going to flip to the next page of my book. So 2.3 reads, each solar panel requires 2.5 square meters of solar glass at a total standard cost of what? $150 per panel. And 2.5 square meters of PVF at a total standard cost of $300 per. So can you see 2.3, they did the best of 2.3. Here, costs were given per panel. So for purpose of saving the standard margin, I just take yes easy. But if then I'm now going to determine, for example, my price variances, I need to adjust this costing. So we can start with the solar glass. It's going for $300. 150. 150 per panel. Yes. So I'm going to buy solar glass. What is the unit of measure for solar glass? Then the procurement department, when they're going to buy solar glass, in what unit of measure? Square meters. So it means that I also need to know what the price per square meter, which in this case is how much? The price per square meter for solar glass. How? Okay, we are doing what 150 divided by what? And then you get what? Per square meter. You are getting what? 60. The same process for PVF. The panel is $300 confirmed. Then per square meter, how much is it? 300 divided by 2.5 to get 120 per square meter. So it's always very important, whatever calculation is being now doing, are you doing per panel or are you doing per meter? Confirm is always very important, so that you don't cross mix issues. So now I've understood the standard in 2.3. You now going to look at the actuals if you are provided any. So the actuals, I think we are finding them in not business. When we are told that in February 2018, Zinc Solar switched to a new supplier of PVF, whose price was 5% cheaper than that of the supplier that they used previously. A total of 2,350 square meters of PVF was purchased from the new supplier and used in production in February 2018. However, because the new PVF turned out to be of a poor quality, 100 solar panels then failed the quality assurance test and had to be scrapped. So now, confirm these are materials again. So solar glass, do you have any variants for solar glass? Solar glass. Do you have any variants? Solar glass will not told anything. So please, I didn't expect you to calculate anything for, because there were no price increase for any other direct materials. Yes, I can see those who didn't do my homework. Then what about for PVF? PVF, they were talking specifically which variant? So now I've got variant for the price variant. Why? Because we were told in February we purchased at 5% below our normal price. And confirm this was in the month of February. Yep. So how did we calculate the price variance? Yes. $5% of why $300? Why per panel? But what is the problem with using that method? You have made a certain assumption, isn't it? What is he is saying? My price, I played around with the 300 then discount and took 95% and took it as the actual price per panel, and then divided by that 2,350, or what, I don't know, 250 divided by 2,350 divided by is the problem by 2.5? What is the potential problem there? You've possibly mixed two variances. We are already assuming that our actual yield was equal to standard yield. So where they are different, we are going to distort your price variance, which is why it's always important to first come say when we are purchasing, what is our unit of measure? So that any variance is strictly related to the purchasing process. Does it make sense? Well, I know most of you did $300 minus 95% of 250. 95% of 300. Then on times actual quantity, but more times 350. For others who are trying to be clever, they said times 350 divided by 2.5, isn't it? This one. Now, what is the problem with that? We are assuming that actual yield was equal to standard yield. But I'm saying you've assumed. What if in them actually purchasing that 350? Why do I want to measure it back to my yield? I'm saying for me, for the avoidance of doubt, I'm sure someone talked about which department are we evaluating them. We're evaluating the purchasing department. How much do they pay for PVM? What is their unit of measure? It's square meter, isn't it? Yes. Are you not agreeing on that?
No.
Yeah. So in what measure? In what unit of measure? PVF.
You know why I would agree with you. Because yield in mix is not production.
I hear you.
Right? So I'm saying I'm interested in the purchasing department and I'm measuring price value. So I'm interested in what was purchased. So what was purchased is not affected by the yield. Because I'm not interested in that. Because what was purchased is 2350, and I want to know it equates to how many panels. So it equates to divided by 2.5.
Why do you want to equate the panel?
It's because my prices are given in panels.
But you can't get the price per square meter.
I can, but I'm saying it's the same thing. Because
but remember, in the guys, evaluation, who would you want to evaluate? So I'm giving feedback to the purchasing department. I need to know the implications at square meter level, not at panel level. But the moment I put my things at panel level, again, I'm also complicating my life. So I'm saying it's a matter of principle. Can you agree at times, guys? We can get things that we hear here. Yes, we can actually get there, but we hear something along the line. But at the principle level, you don't really know what exactly you do. So here for me, I'm more worried about the principle. What are we trying to do? We want the price value for purchasing PVA. When you go to purchase PVA, how do you buy it? Right? The square meter. The element variance, I need to know the price per square meter minus the standard price minus the actual price times the actual square meters purchased. So that at least when I go to the purchasing department, to them they don't want to get conversion. What they know is just purchase PVA. They can actually get this very important. The problem. Yes, we go to the cheaper amount. But later on, of course, we scrape some of the solar panels. So the most important thing for me is what always about your thought process. Is it properly tuned up? Not about the final just getting the answer by Hugo. But by Hugo proof, if I just change something for in another case study. That Hugo proof not always very easy. You'd rather cement on what is the thinking behind what I'm trying to. And again, some of us would have struggled with how to calculate these values. Yep. Did you have another variance for PVF? For PVF. PVF. Guys, don't be ashamed of your answer. This says there's no penalizing for getting wrong, for the one getting it right as just satisfaction. So PVF then could come in another variance. Why we're not given information around the usage. Confirm. You said that 2350. How was it used? We don't have the information. So definitely we can't calculate the usage. I'm not surprised that some of us we came up with the usage variable. No problem, you can't. But you can't hear your way. 5 minutes gone, calculation that was next week, that was impossible to calculate. But there simply was no information to calculate the usage value. Yes. So PVF, that was all. Then 2.3 were cancelled. 2.4, the standard cost of other direct materials incorporating the wiring, junction box, glue sheets, aluminum frame was $160 per solar panel. And confirming the actual results, then he didn't get any additional information around this. So no variance to talk about. 2.5, budgeted fixed manufacturing overheads were $1,150,000. The standard variable manufacturing overhead per solar panel was $100. Fixed manufacturing overheads include depreciation on machinery and the salaries of the machine operators and electricians. So effectively, labor cost is variable or fixed. In this context, it's a fixed cost, isn't it? And when you're operating a variable standard costing system, if you are going to have a variable fixed cost, which variable will it be? It will be what? That's the expenditure variance period, isn't it? But if you are in a full absorption, that's when you can break down the variance period. So now let's go to actuals. The differences between the standard. We can go to note A, isn't it? So in note A, we are told second from last sentence. To secure that, to ensure that the tender did not have any impact on existing production and source volumes, the machine operators and electricians were paid a total of $75,000 over time. That had not been budgeted. So telling you this variance, we had not budgeted for that $75,000. This solar is sufficient payment capacity with the supply. So that information, what is our variance? And what is that $75,000? What did you name that variance? It's led by expenditure. Question? Yes. Sorry? In fact, from a performance evaluation, is that name useful? You don't know what you need to change going forward, is it? So, guys, always be specific. Here, all I had are things because I didn't have issues, except for yes. So if I'm going when they recommend action to address rainfall, it may mean we increase our level of capacity. But if I just want to keep my job and expand the value, going forward, how do I address any problem? Yeah. Because the people wake up, I'm never formula. But I am not a formula. It was given me. Then another 2.6. No loss is a vital care as a result of the inspection and quality control tests. Expectation is there. And what was actual? It was 100. It had only variance. How many we saw but did not see? And how do you put a dollar amount to this variance? How many times she to get a dollar amount? Not just cost of sales, but remember when the variable started costing this year. And the variable costing the standard variable cost. So for these outputs that fail to meet our quality assurance processes, this is the loss we suffered, which is the direct cost incurred. Some of you, when you saw this one, not taught, but just required common sense. Yes, common sense to say what is the variance? Expectation versus you say?
The most contribution that we
So someone would have taken another route, say instead of multiplying by the standard variable cost, he's saying I could also multiply by maybe the standard margin. Say what convent did I lose from scraping these panels, which again was a valid, could also be a valid way to determine the dollar amount of variable. And what is we name the variable? What do we name the variable? Quality control, so long as whatever variable the quality is, it was fine. But maybe they allowed you to say, I will this add this variable, which was picked in our quality assurance process. So you need to really look at what caused it, what caused it. That's our case that they more or less gave us a reason. We bought cheaper materials. It's cheap, not always cheap. You pay in other ways. So that was our expectation from required fee. So question, I know Pataka said it was difficult. But do you know what was difficult? What was difficult in this question? It's my students who are difficult. For example, you miss the labor expenditure variance. You miss the quality inspection variance. But those ones did not even need you to break a sweat. You're supposed just to say what is the variance. Then you calculate your variance. So the majority of us were a lot of misinterpretation of information. And also a problem in putting a pre-prepared positions. We can always take a position in our 5 hours trying to calculate PVF usage variance. Extrapolating with it's not coming out. Both just got in and said, I need to calculate the usage variance. So guys, I encourage you need to read the case studies. That's the only way you can create flexibility. So now, based on the information and my knowledge of variance analysis, which variances can I calculate? Any other challenges encountered? Before we go to required F, any other challenges? I'm waiting for your comments. I think I received a comment from the online guys. It's around the sales margin variance. And I believe we had a detailed discussion around that. So this one, I'll give them feedback directly. But I think for us to reopen it again, I just in this room midnight. Okay. So let's go to required what? Let's go to required F. How was F? So required F, why critically discuss the standard costing schedule in para 3 as the basis for determining the price at which solar panels should be introduced to the retail market. 10. No calculation required. I know some of you, the temptation was just too much. You just had to calculate something. The communication skills, logical argument. So I've been asked to critically. What is to critique? When I ask to critique, I know some of us are very good at critiquing in the wrong places. When I put in the exam, then you seem to get lost. So critiquing is all about poking holes. So I just say I don't want to have, she just makes the blue black as she did. So you are critiquing the work that was done. So critically discuss. What am I critically discuss? So the word critique, there's always a review that needs to happen. I review what was done and I raise my comments. But what exactly are we reviewing? A standard costing schedule in para 3. But then for me to have a proper review, I need to know why was that standard costing schedule prepared in the first place. It was prepared as a basis for determining price. Yep. So whatever comment I raise around that schedule should be within the context of the price. So if you go back to your script, some of us were just writing. But you know, but the relevance of your point to the price decision was not coming out. If you are saying this was not right, so within the context of making a price decision, why is it? Then one of the, I did a quick scan of what you uploaded. And one of the comments that I saw was, so this standard costing schedule, if you go back to the scenario, sometimes they change from variable to full absorption. The comment was, after I can anticipate the comment, assume solar we use the variable standard costing basis. So it was not appropriate to use full absorption cost. I know I love you, but you don't have to put up. Okay, guys, one meeting, please. There's a question.
On the critically discussed,
Okay.
is there an element of supporting what the person has done, or it's about what you've done wrong? Yeah.
Okay.
When you're critiquing.
Okay, so when you're critiquing, his question is, do I also, why I agree with what they've done, should I also acknowledge? And my answer is yes. But what you acknowledge, not say, if I cast this thing, it's edging up, boom, casting is super. I know, you guys, are my students, I know what you like. But no matter what can be a thing that you agree with. Okay, guys, when you've got a debatable principle and you think this guy properly dealt with it, you can raise the comment, but yes, after they really applied themselves. Not to acknowledge the most of their thinking. To say, I find the valuable because of the yes, yes, they're okay. I don't know the critique. That's really good for you to raise a comment, a positive comment. Songela. Then there were others that I talked about saying they're challenging, saying they should, the management account should not have used full absorption, but gone back to variable standard. What has that to do with the pricing decision? This guy said, for the purpose of the pricing, we are going to go full absorption. So your critique could have challenged basing a pricing on full absorption. But that's not a critique. When you look at pricing models, what are the limitations of using a cost-based pricing model? I saw some people were raised some very insightful points around that issue. To say, okay, given that we want to enter a new market, our pricing should be more penetration-based pricing, which would base it currently how much are solar panels being sold in the retail market. Then we make our price a function of that, or put a slight discount. We are critiquing the use of full absorption as a pricing basis. Given the context, it's a new market that we want to enter. I hope you are seeing what I'm doing. I'm using the information as the case study. Why are we even worried about pricing at the moment? Well, Zim Solar wants to enter a new, which is why they now need to come back. So at what price do we sell to into the retail market segment? For those who did their business model analysis, from reading the background information, should have identified their current existing customers. Now they want to enter a new customer. So this one they have to use them. So okay, it makes sense from where they come from and what they want to do now. That was number one. Then I come from 3.1. Solar cells now about 2, 4, 5 items with 3.1. So I can say 90% of you, if not more, you said you are not covered to use higher standard costs due to inflation, blah, blah, blah. The price might have changed due to inflation. I presume maybe last now. I'm raising this specifically. When I say solar cells, the issue was not about inflation. What was the issue? It was not about importation. Yes. They are not using the information. So it's not again about that issue. It's about what? Yes. We are now manufacturing our own solar cells. Yet our costs are based on cost of importation. So now you are yeah. Okay, where is it? Let's read the first paragraph. As in view of its success with the solar farm installation for the shopping mall, Solar plans to expand into the retail segment during FY 2019. Solar seems that the extra will enable it to have the financial ability to invest in its own solar cell manufacturing capabilities rather than having to import the solar cells from Europe. For the avoidance of doubt, Solar has accordingly invested in nuanced machinery to manufacture its own solar cells. In that paragraph, it was very clear they were doing this. And then we got the cost of importing. So this is why I'm saying for that it has nothing to do with inflation or exchange rate. The management has needed to determine the standard cost of manufacturing solar cells. But what I'm simply saying, guys, I'm saying, whenever I'm revising with you, I always emphasize the quiet, what they can do with relevant section of the scenario. If you mean that these guys are not marketing their solar cells, generally didn't read the scenario. Once you're in, and we still expect better results going forward. I don't know how you want things to work. But because we had already come through with a pre-prepared answer, we can't use velocity. So come Zimbabwe inflation in rupees. And I know some countries largely give with the high inflation rate in Zimbabwe. If you are as a point, that's not happening. Then on the solar glass, just analyze it. We're saying what could you have talked about? So on the solar glass, we didn't have any value. So you could then go the issue of your generic, isn't it? Say we can't just use prior standard. Price might have changed due to inflation, blah. It doesn't apply for solar other material, other manufacturing overhead. Not to say solar glass inflation. Second, say valuable material inflation. Then say other material. For these expenses, you are not proper to make prior. Yes, sir, of course. As the price might have changed due to or a clever student who is very good at you, using prior year, because we are now going to the retail segment, chances are our production is going to go up on solar panels. Are these guys still able to sell at those old prices? Should not be negotiating lower prices. Economies of scale, isn't it? The other one that I found interesting, the fixed manufacturing overhead. Confirm there was a problem there. What was the problem? So the issue of the allocation of the fixed manufacturing overheads is based on FY 2018 machine. Already there's a problem. What is the problem? Yes. Even the new production, so we can't use machine hours for prior production level. So some of that was. Then our fixed manufacturing overhead. When we did our variance analysis, when we found an expenditure variance, what gave rise to the expenditure variance? Why did this guy make overtime? Just think about, so in fact, what does it mean in terms of our labor? We are working 100% what? By entering this new segment, we want to produce more and we don't have labor capacity. So what should we do? Recruit, isn't it? So I can't just take prior fixed manufacturing over. I'm not linking my variance analysis, isn't it? Which is why after I read the call that we need to be specific on the variance. What gave rise to the variance? Because they break over time, it mentions the level of opening the market 100% capacity. With this new initiative, we have to increase our labor. But this one is our challenge again. Please prepared answers. So you looked into your solution, Ben. You never done a question like this, so you're stuck, isn't it? You couldn't even think. Froze. And for others, might have, for example, guys, might have maybe started with the quad. Because EFG, my this role required G. And then I think F E. The problem was you couldn't use then use your findings from E to answer what? F. So more often than not, whenever I'm looking at the chronological order of required, they tend to go with the flow scenario. And the understanding that I expect you to be getting as you go along. This is my personal. This is my personal opinion. I normally advise say just follow the order. You can joke like headless chicken. But I'm hoping if you then reconcile how you accepted the person. I believe the feedback that you gave me was okay, this person was difficult. Okay, it was fair. But the other things, if you had really got to the scenario, that you could have easily talked about, which you didn't talk about, because we ignored to use common sense. There's some of the common sense, they are just common ones. If we are now manufacturing and we are used to import, so should I use a standard cost of importing? It will not work. Any questions on F? on F. Well, the most important thing is, do you manage to pick out why you struggle with F and what did you address going forward?
Points pertaining to the
Sorry?
I noted the point pertaining to solar thermal manufacturing battery cells.
This one solar cells.
Solar cells, yes, which they didn't experience to manufacture. So I thought of the learning curve being longer than maybe for them to realize the profit in the process.
The learning curve of producing what?
The solar cells.
The solar. So I'm saying it would have been covered by 3.1. Solar cells. We use the standard for supporting them. We need to come up with a cost of manufacturing. In the different things about what you're commenting about. But in the general, we just throw it in talking about learning curve for producing solar panels. We've always been producing what? New production process around producing manufacturing solar. Hi, Jacob. So I hope we are reconciling your own thought process, how you went about answering this question, versus how we expected you to go about answering the question. Let's move on to required, the last required. Last required. This is our favorite question, isn't it? Discuss the key business risks for ZimSol with regard to the manufacture and sale of solar panels. Manufacture and sale of solar panels. The first point that I took is then raise. We have got a concentration risk. Since you only sell one product, solar panels, full stop. And Elliot is not going to give you a mark for that one. Why? Just one of my best points, and they're telling me no mark for that one. Anyone can explain why, for example, I will not give you a mark for that one? Yes.
I'm thinking maybe the nature of the business, how the reason why the company was formed was because they saw the problems, the peculiar problems with power and something.
The power shortages. Okay.
So then to try to
Diversify.
going to South Africa.
We have product diversification, not maybe economy diversification. Let's say if you raise product diversification, Hey. I'm not given the forex shortages. Where in my case studies they talk about forex shortages? Not number one. The question in this paper are not intended to reflect the reality of the Zimbabwean economy. Guys, hey, wait. So come get the paper. And that is what you should at ITC. Instruction is the exchange rate, interest rate, then you inflation and take a face value, and then Japan and blah blah blah. And this is what's making people feel at ITC. But unfortunately, maybe for a citizen, they understand where I'm coming from. You can maybe seduce me to give me a man. But when you go for the ITC, okay guys, when you go for the ITC, the person that you they are clueless about the economy. And then they start to go to town about the long queues, about the priority list.
So does this structure change? Like,
This one, if you go to all ITC papers, you find this instruction.
okay.
Hello? Cynthia, what if I was told you about not using this data not in the scenario? I always just say, guys, don't create your own scenario, isn't it? Use information that I've given you in the case study. What the problem is, before you know it, you now have your own. Before you know it, you now have your own scenario. So, what is my advice? I appreciate that in the exam, because some of those stickers, no more. Don't feel bad about this. It's normal. There are long queues, waiting lists in the farm. That should come out of point number 7, 8, 9, or what? Just in case, what happens? You know, markers are human. Point number 1, 2, 3 are just going like this. The pen will just continue on that trajectory, isn't it? Because this student knows what they're talking about. So, 7, then is this a juice minute? You start talking about things that may not be in this case, but they're happening in this Zimbabwe economy. But question number 1, I'm still very much awake to say, my friend, this was nowhere near the scenario. What about tight? Just an answer of Brazil, say this student wants to try to be too clear. Okay, I'm just telling you, it's not about human beings. Whether it's good or not, it's a debate for another day. But as you're also writing, you also to manage human behavior. Your best 4 quality points, put them up top. You've been good books with the market. The rest, you most likely get the benefit of the doubt of the say, but listen, they know what they're talking about. Even the marker will end up for you. I bet what they were saying up top, I think what they didn't want to say. Anyway, so on the business risk question, the next feedback to say, generally, we don't start with business risks. But more than not, we then tend to create our own scenarios and actually fail to use information in the scenario. Well, someone could say, given our experience, the procurement of PVF, we're going to supply this kidney. But these guys seduced us through a lower price, but their quality was atrocious. We had to write off a number of our solar panels. But it's coming from the case studies. Comments. So what you saw in your answer? Yes.
Maybe you should ask it. You know the allocation of foreign parents. We should put as your comment solution. Is it how we waited or
how did I wait it?
solar cells?
I I know at times, remember in marking, they saying that they didn't give marks for out of lenient, but in my marking scheme I'll never put.
Yeah, because I was trying to
reconcile, yes. So actually when we did our department review, I think the version we then uploaded was not the clean up version. So I'm sure we'll send in updated one. To ensure it didn't also fall into that same trap of raising things that may not be applicable. A business risk, it appears that we are operating at 100% capacity of our labor. What risk does that create? Machine operators and electricians, that's skilled labor. So part of the potential business risk is the risk that is also coming from a variance analysis. It then becomes counterproductive to all the long hours we put in our study, our preparation. What we do in those 3 hours, very important. How much weight are you doing in developing the skill of paying attention to detail? Anything that you read, you need to understand within the context of the case study. And I believe that's one thing, hopefully, which we are going to invest in over the next couple of days is you're preparing for your test 2. But I know in your mind, I say, I need just to go do a brush up of one, a brush up of. But that's not where your problem is. Information. If you put something in black and white for a black person, you've hidden something forever. Because we somehow we tend to skip the detail. Another thing that I asked you to do, here is now more about your self-discipline. How many of us found 3 hours to sit down and write this paper? This is not just about your self-individual discipline. Whether or not you like to end with something else. I'm just saying self-discipline, whereby you're saying, I need to practice something. And I want to at least get the benefit of that practice. And there's a certain way of doing it. Did I do it that way? Or I just expect by hook or crook a miracle will happen in the examination. I read a quote during the Heroes holiday. So the quote was more or less saying, if you do not put in the work, you are going to die the rest of your life saying I received in part of the past. And I really thought that was, to some extent, that statement was very appropriate. We start to blame other things in our lives, say, but I think Zesa, if only Zesa was there. Or if only maybe website that class, then call out every. So guys, my parting words is, as you are now doing your revision, as you are going on our journey to become CAs, guys, no one owes you nothing in this book. Trust me, that's life. No one owes you nothing. And if you think the world owes you something, and you are out there to always complain, and so you are going to die complaining. The world can move on with or without you. That's the most unfortunate thing about life. It can move on. Say, for me to be part of this bandwagon, what do I need to do? At an individual level. So with that type of attitude, anything will be possible. Because your life is not about blaming anyone. You say, I blame the government for the high inflation. I blame this for that. But at your level, what have you done about things that are within your control? Then actually, you are actually even worse than the people that you are blaming. Then when best of wishes. Okay.
Both we wrote also did the text.
With text. Okay, so I'll ask the text team to upload the solution. Then for revision papers, I will ask them to put maybe a few guided comments for any gray areas that may need clarification. So I hope by tomorrow they should have uploaded